From photo shoots to pop-ups to podcast recordings, Orange Door Spaces fuels your vision. For more information, follow Orange Door Spaces on Instagram, or you can email them at info@orangedoorspaces.com.
Welcome to another episode of South Bay Buzz with Megan Lebre. I am joined today by the lovely, the fabulous, the wonderful Ciara Lyons-Ragains. Yay! I'm so glad you're here today. Thank you so much. And yes, we have been virtual friends for years.
Yes.
And finally, we are IRL friends.
Yes.
We connected through South Bay Buzz. You had reached out in 2023, we think.
Yeah.
To tell me about your business, and we've been cheering each other on ever since. We even graduated to voice memos.
That's
to
right.
each other.
Each other's real phone numbers, you know?
Real phone numbers. And I'm continuously inspired by you, and I'm thrilled to share your story. You really to share your story here on South Bay Buzz. So before we dive in, will you please let the wonderful people know who you are and what you do?
So I'm Ciara, as that great intro just stated. So I'm born and raised in Southern California, around the area, Long Beach. And I currently am a registered nurse, a wellness coach, a mama to a 2.5-year-old going on 20. I don't know. Every day I'm just like, who are you? How did I get here? I currently work as a case manager, and I feel like it's kind of fitting for me because I have always been like, how do I help make people's life easier and better? And I think I was born into that, also hence being the nurse. And so, like you said, I reached out to you in 2023 with the previous business I had, and just been watching you and, just kind of keeping in contact here and there, especially we both have busy lives with our children and everything. And and so now we're here. Fast forward a couple years, but we made it. Proud of us.
Very proud of us. And thank you just so much for honestly for not just sharing your story, but for cheering me on. There has, it's very hard to like work the full-time job and hustle, and you know that. And I think we're both feel very called to do the things that we're doing, and provide for our family and be good partners and great moms. And we deeply love the community. So thank you for being here today.
Thank you for having me.
You're welcome.
I'm excited.
Yes. I'm going to pull up my little questions here. So you gave us a nice intro, and we'll get started sort of at the top. So your work spans being a nurse, a mom, a patient, and now an advocate and educator. Will you walk us through the moment that you knew you wanted to create for Black wellness?
Yeah. Okay, so I've always been this way, wanting to help folks, wanting people to have justice, have equity in their lives. Also, I think, just growing up as a Black woman in general, you see a lot of things that are just not right and you want to fix for yourself and for others. And then I also come from a family who have just always helped other people, basically. My grandfather is a pastor. My grandmother, and this is on my mom's side, my grandmother is no longer here with us. But even for her, she took care of us. There's so many of us, but she would have us. And I'm like, woman, how? Can barely manage the one. And like, they're just two people who would give you the clothes off their back, and would always rise to the occasion. And then, of course, they had my mom and her sisters, and that's just how we've grown up. And I've always just thought, like, I want to make life better for them and then the people around me, and then my child or children growing. Yeah. it's been a long time coming.
Yes. So to kind of take from that, and I think this is really an important chapter in your story, 'cause it sounds like it does inform a lot of what you do. You lived through a very scary experience in your death experience in the very hospital where you worked. For listeners who may not realize how deep these disparities go, will you please help us understand what's happening inside our healthcare system, especially as it relates to maternal mortality for Black women?
Yeah. So, I mean, if you haven't, but I'm sure most of us have heard the statistics that Black women are 3 to 4 times more likely to die within pregnancy or the perinatal period in general, pregnancy, having the child, and postpartum. Um, at the end of the day, the real reason is systemic racism. Like, if we're just gonna call it what it is. And then obviously there's levels from there, but they all just start at systemic racism. It starts from the fact that maybe they're not able to get great prenatal care, postpartum care, just like the foods and the things that they have around them. Um, and then into even getting the care from the doctors, nurses, and things when we go into the hospital and the clinic settings. Um, I do think that the newer generations of nurses and doctors are trying to be better, but we still have a long ways to go. Because I forgot what study it was, but they were saying that there are still doctors who believe that Black people don't really feel pain because our skin is thicker and things like that. Yeah, so it's still pretty prevalent. We are nowhere near close to where we need to be. And then with all that's going on right now in the world, and within our country, it almost feels like we're going backwards, but I refuse. And I know a lot of people who are trying to do the Lord's work, kind of, in the sense of providing better care. Um, and yeah, and then again, like I said, a lot of my doings also comes from my own experience of nearly dying, and mainly, again, on that time, even though I was working for this hospital, it just seemed, I guess they figured that it wasn't as serious as it was. And so I was mainly just like, don't pass out, don't like you will not make it if you're not present, right? And then, you know, obviously I'm here today. But that was with a lot of me praying and then my family fighting and advocating for me until I got the right treatment. Yeah. Yeah.
Thank you for sharing that. I
Yeah.
feel like you've told me that before, and I don't know why it's hitting me a little differently today. I learned about Black maternal mortality rates in I guess probably like closer to 2016, 2017. And then I really learned more in depth about it in 2018 when I went through birth doula training. And a number of women that were there at the same training as me, like we all shared the reasons why we were there.
Yeah.
And there were a number of women who talked about the fact that their mission as doulas was to be a doula to Black women, people of color, because our communities need us. And I just was unaware of the high statistics, and then I think the systemic part of it. So I feel like I learned a lot through that training, and I've just continued to have learned more and more about it.
I think in 2020 that we all just became like more aware of a lot of like things socially
Yeah.
that was going on because we had to stop, right? Like everything was just like on hold so we could pay attention to more things, I think. Because even with like George Floyd and all of that. So I think that's probably what happened around that time,
Yeah.
is that like we're slowed down, like, nobody's really out doing things, so now we're able to be like, "Okay." And that's for everyone across all ethnicities, like,
Mhm.
we have so much going on day to day, like, our lives are way different from, like, our parents and then our grandparents and stuff like that, just the way that how fast it's moving, fact that we all have to work to survive, especially
Yeah.
if you live in California.
Yeah.
And so I think, like I said, when everything shut down, it was just like, oh, okay, now we kind of have to look at ourselves and look at what's going on around us.
Yeah.
Which I think during that time, which is awful with COVID, like I think was also a really good thing for us and for the planet. The
Yeah.
planet showed us that it was a good thing, right?
Yes.
But yeah, I think that also I feel like there were more like celebrities and more like like hearing about like Serena and like it's just become more like people are talking about it. Um and that's honestly what any issue needs. Any problem needs, it needs for people to talk about it, for the right people to talk about it, people who are knowledgeable in it. Um and I think that that's what's been happening, and I'm glad that it's been happening, and like I said, I think our generation, we're really coming to, like, this where like, we've seen so much, and we've gone through so much as millennials, that we're just like, this doesn't work, and we want to make it work. Like, we want to make it work in the right way,
Mhm.
for everybody.
We would It's that meme that goes around every once in a while. It's like, we would really appreciate some precedented times. We've lived through enough. Unprecedented.
Yeah.
Amazing. So, as someone who's both inside the healthcare system and calling out systemic problems publicly, how do you navigate that tension professionally and personally?
Well, so who I am personally is who I am professionally, not gonna lie.
Yeah.
Sometimes, I mean, if you're a traditional professional person, you're probably like, "Relax, Ciara," but, I call it as I see it, and I don't feel a way, about it. Maybe that's also the Capricorn in me. But I'm like, let's call a spade. Like, if this is what is happening, the only way to fix a problem is to address it. And so if I'm not a labor and delivery nurse anymore, but like when I was at the bedside and everything like that, I would address the issue right then and right there. Even if like it's a pushback against the doctors, even if it's a pushback against fellow nurses and stuff like that. My job at the end of the day and my goal at the end of the day is that we all walk out of here whole. I don't care if that doesn't sit right with someone else's spirit. It has to sit right with my spirit. And I will always. That will always be me. I have no like I don't want any fakeness. I don't want like I'm just like this is what it is and I bring that everywhere I go. And I'm sure a lot of people at my job now, even as a case manager, is probably like, "Oh, that case manager gets on my nerves because 'cause I'm just like, no, that doesn't seem right." Like, when we're doing rounds, I'm, like, interjecting, like, "No. Oh, did you check this? I don't know if that"
Yeah.
just because I don't like shoddy work. I don't want, not when it comes to people's lives.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And I'm like, I'm not like, "Oh, it has to be so serious," or anything like that. I'm just like, "Just do your job to the best of your ability." That's what I'm trying to do, and that's what people deserve.
Yeah. I really like that, the coming out whole, because I think I've been a birth doula to friends.
Mhm.
Do it professionally, but for friends, and being obviously a mom myself, you hear, of course, you hear the like, we want baby and mommy to be happy or healthy, and I've always sort of been like safe, supported, and untraumatized. But I
Right,
almost,
right.
I like yours. I really love that whole
Yeah,
because that kind of encompasses everything.
yeah.
That's really Lovely. And also, as a Libra, I will tell you that I love a Capricorn in my life because you all are very direct and you have high standards and you're not afraid to be like, hey, let's call this out. So
We want everybody to meet our hearts.
yes.
I'm sorry if you have a Capricorn in your life,
No, it's
but we all like
we
are
know,
just
we
like, listen,
yeah. It's
I don't
good.
like it. I need you to be up here,
Yes.
down here, kind of
Yeah.
a situation. But it's for well, at least I like to tell myself, it's
Yeah.
for the betterment of others.
It is for the betterment of others. It is. Oh,
I see your full
so
potential
funny.
and I want you to reach it.
No, I honestly, I feel like I have had success in my life when I've had support in my life. They always are like lifting me up and being like, oh no, you're not. No,
Right.
stand in your power. Like
Correct.
you're no. And I'm like,
Do your
"Oh,
superwoman pose.
yes.
Every day, all day.
Oh my gosh. So funny.
You run the world.
Girls.
The world. Right.
Your platform is about giving Black women the tools to advocate for themselves. So, in the spirit of vulnerability and authenticity and allyship, let's discuss some practical, grounded ways folks, especially white women and men, can also be strong advocates and allies.
Mm-hmm. Listen to Black women.
Louder. Louder.
Listen to us. In all seriousness, I am being serious, but I think what happens from what I've experienced with some of my white friends is that it feels that like they put themselves in the center of the situation. And that's not what is needed. I think what is needed is some self-reflection in the sense of what is my part in this, of what's been going on around me. Obviously, I don't believe anybody needs to answer to something that they didn't do at the end of the day. Like, even if, we understand what happened, what our history is and stuff like that, but I don't walk around thinking like, oh, your forefather, like, you know what I mean? Like, that's not like something I'm thinking, but sometimes it comes across as if maybe that's like something that is like white people may be thinking. I'm thinking. I don't know. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, but it's not. I'm more so thinking like, what are you doing now to perpetuate the situation or not? And I think that's really where it is. Like, just seeing where you fit into the narrative. And then listening to Black women. Because most of us, we are minding our own business, but when we see something that is not right, most of us are going to call it out. And it's not just to be like, oh, woe is me, which I think sometimes we feel that that's what Black women are doing, but it's not. We're calling it out because we're like, this is not working for anyone. Right? Even if you think at the time the system right now only works for cis white men. I'm sorry. And I'm sorry if that hurts. And it's more in the sense of gathering us to realize that that's what is happening and what has always been. It only really works for them. And now it's going to only working for rich cis white men. So, but I think that's where we are. I think it's just really reflecting on how you want to be seen in the world, how you want to navigate the world, how you want your children to go through the world, and how to make it a better place at the end of the day. Just remove yourself from the center of it and just be like, how do I want to be seen, and how can I help that? How can I move that along? And that's for all of us, but for allies, I think that's really where it is. Listen to us, acknowledge us. If you're into something, acknowledge where you got that from, because that's also been a thing forever. is that like, oh, if it's something culturally that you like about us, just acknowledge it. Like, oh, I saw this on whoever's page, or I heard this song, or whatever it is, and just put their name to it. That's it. That is all, right? Um, just be a good human at the end of the day, and it'll work for everyone.
Beautifully said. And something that any of us can do starting right now.
Right
And
now.
if you're doing it, thank you and continue. And
Right.
all of us can improve and do better. So,
Yeah.
thank
All
you.
of us. And like I call you out with love.
Honestly, we can all improve. And to me too, I feel like self-reflection, that's a
Yeah.
lifelong thing. That we all have to like sit with ourselves, and it's uncomfortable,
Yeah.
and that's okay.
Yeah.
And so sometimes if you need to find like a therapist or find a friend or find whatever, or just sit with yourself and really like,
Yes.
work through these things, like that's okay. The more that you can understand about yourself, it's going to let you be a better human in this world. You got to take care of the inner workings,
Right.
to show up better for yourself, for your friends, for your family, for your community.
Right. And I think just being able to be okay with saying like, I don't have it all together,
Mhm.
and I'm not like a perfect person. And I think society has made us feel like we have to go through life presenting perfectly
Mhm.
all the time. And if anything I've learned at this big age is that I'm like, listen, I can only give what I can give.
Yeah.
And you're gonna get what you can get. Like, that's it. Like, I have released, especially since I've had, my daughter, I just released that, like, "Oh, I have to be this to present." Like, I know what I offer, um, and I offer that regardless of you know, what the outer looks like. My mind and my brain is still there. I can still show up to help you. I might not be put together. I might be late. I might be here, there, and everywhere. I might have forgot to text you back for a few days. But, you know, we're all just trying to do our best, and that is okay at the end of it. That is what is needed. That is all that is needed, and I feel like we would all be in a better place if we were just like, "This is what I have today."
Mhm.
Maybe 50%.
Practice being
Practice being perfect. If it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out. Like, I mean, yeah, yeah, I don't know. It's okay, basically. At the end of the day, it's okay.
When creativity calls, Orange Door Spaces answers. Whether you're styling a shoot, launching a brand, or planning the next big event, they've got the space that adapts to your vision. From photogenic studios to flexible event zones, you can bring your creative energy to life here. I know for me, I found my home recording the South Bay Buzz podcast here, and Justin and Eliza, who are the owners, have made everything so streamlined and easy. I've also met great people co-working here and have been inspired through conversations and connection. You can make your magic happen here. Just come visit Orange Door Spaces today and be inspired.
So you're involved with the Culver City Promise Walk for Preeclampsia.
Yes.
And I know preeclampsia disproportionately affects Black women, especially obviously Black moms. What do you wish more people knew about preeclampsia, and how can folks be involved with the walk?
So, I feel like people don't fully know about preeclampsia in general. Like, it's the term that is thrown around, and then unless you've had a child and you've experienced it, you don't really know much about it. Um, but what I want for us to know is to just learn more about it. Not necessarily that you got to deep dive it, but what it is basically, um, high blood pressure at a certain point and in your pregnancy, like weeks. And then it also has other factors with like protein in your urine and just other like symptoms and signs that would have the doctors basically diagnose you with preeclampsia. Um, and depending on what at what point that happens in your pregnancy can determine if you can continue to be pregnant without potentially risking having a seizure or stroke. Preeclampsia can lead to more severe and or fatal results if not treated. And also you can have preeclampsia even after you've had the baby. It can show up in postpartum, and for some women, it shows up in postpartum, like after they've had the baby. Then they're now having high blood pressure. I know that happened to my friend. And she took some medicine, and she's back to normal now. Her child is 4, but it's still, and it's not really something I think that people are aware of. We think like, oh, we have the baby, and now we're going home and it's done. But it's not. Sometimes you have to continue to be followed up and like take medicine and so on and so forth, see a cardiologist, whatever it is that is needed. Especially now with a lot of women having babies older, right? And that's neither here. That doesn't mean that you're going to have preeclampsia, but it's just something for us to think about. I am a geriatric pregnancy.
Yes.
That term makes me laugh.
Oh my gosh. All these.
Technically, even though I was 35 when I was pregnant, but like, there's just a lot of things, and nuances, and I just don't think we talk about it enough. And with our doctor's appointments being like 5 seconds, you don't always get a chance to talk about it, especially if you don't come prepared to talk to the provider about it. That is one thing I will say. Go prepared. You are pregnant. Have your questions prepared so you can be like, before you walk out the door.
Yes.
Have a few things that I want to touch on, So our chair for the Promise Walk for preeclampsia, her name is Dr. Chris Merchant. Her business is called Sacral PT, and she is a mobile pelvic floor physical therapist. Also, if you never heard about pelvic floor physical therapy, it's a thing. You should do it, men or women. But definitely if you've had a child, see a pelvic floor physical therapist. And you can see it even if you're older now. It doesn't just only have to be around childbearing age. But she experienced preeclampsia. She had her son at 29 weeks, I believe. And he spent about 9 weeks in NICU. And she spent about a week in the hospital. So really dear to her heart. And we became friends through this business life. I love that I just met great people out here trying to do the work. And she was just like, oh, you want to be a co-chair? And I was like, of course, let's do it. So yes, coming September 20th, we'll be at Veterans Memorial Park, I believe. Help me on that. Sorry.
I'm like, that
Forgive me. But also I will give the information, and hopefully you can put it in the show notes and stuff. But yes, come out. We'll have some activities. It's a 5K walk. You can donate. You can create a team if you would like to help raise money. We're trying to raise 10,000. And so or if you are a business and you want to be a sponsor or be a vendor, hit me up, because we're welcoming everybody, and it's family friendly. Bring your kids, dogs, everything, and it's gonna be a good.
The work you do is gratifying and nourishing and very meaningful, but with anything that is human-centered, especially, it can also be hard and emotional and can probably at times just feel draining. And so what are some of the practices or grounding work that you do for yourself that brings you joy and lifts your spirits?
Well, I am a big music lover. I love music, all different types of genres. I just saw a post where they were showing All American Reject.
Oh, yeah.
And I think they were with like the
Oh,
baseball group
yes.
or whatever, and they
Yes, the
performed
fake
there.
bananas.
And I was literally just grooving to them because I was like,
Those guys
and brought it back, right? And I was just like, oh, I love that. But I listen to music. That's definitely something that kind of just helps me like kind of go away. I also um like how we're saying kind of in the beginning where we're like shaking it off. I was like, oh, just sigh. Like a loud sigh, just kind of like, oh,
Yeah.
like just relaxing my body and giving myself a chance to just kind of be like, okay.
Mhm.
I really do that when I feel like I'm just like wound up. Like I'm up here. So that's another thing I say that I do. The other thing I think is that, and my family and especially my husband, he'll be like, nothing bothers. And I'm just like, things bother me. I just, again, like I have this ability to separate and compartmentalize.
Yeah, you did.
um I feel like it's maybe a part of my I don't know if it's a healthy thing, but that is kind of how I deal with the things that are happening. That's how I deal with being a nurse and even the sad things that I have dealt with or deal with. Um it's it's kind of separating myself from what's happening. And um yeah, I mean I was just thinking about this the other day because I've had multiple people, especially recently, the last few weeks, just kind of, I'm like, hi, I'm Ciara. And I just have a few questions about your life, like, your home life. And then they immediately just vent or go through their whole story or, just let me know everything. And which I'm just like, okay, like I'm listening to them because sometimes we just need to say the things. Um and then at the end they'll be like, I don't know why I just told you all of that, but it felt like I could,
Mm.
you know. Um and so I do feel like that's kind of like my calling, and I feel that God or whoever you believe in um has given me the ability to do that, to withstand that, where I don't necessarily take it on as my own issues, but I'm able to um, stand in the gap for the people who need it in the time that they need it. And then hopefully able to help with whatever resources and things that um, need to happen for them. I think that's just how I do. And then I have like friends and family around me, and I laugh a lot. Sometimes things maybe are not funny or they may not be funny to other people, but I have a good hearty laugh about it, even if it doesn't seem like it's something that should be laughed at. Um, and it's never in disrespect to others. It's just like that's just kind of how I deal with things that just are absurd. Yeah.
You have a beautiful and empathetic and compassionate soul. And so I do think that the compartmentalization is a strength and not a drawback because you're able to meet people where they're at. You obviously are someone who has like a very bright spirit and this warmth that people feel like they can talk with you. And at the same time, I feel like for your probably for your mental health,
Mhm.
it is great that you can compartmentalize it and not take it on and like bring it home with you. And
Yeah.
yeah, I think that's honestly, I do think that's like a gift. And kind of like you were saying, you feel like this is your calling. And so
Yeah.
yeah, that's a strength for sure.
Yeah. I like to think of it as that.
It is.
I
Yeah.
was like, I might be, if you're psychoanalyzing me, please tell me if it's not. But
I
yeah, I did. I like to think.
yes. Okay, so you gave a great tip. Before we wrap up, I want to see if there's any other tips you would give. So you mentioned having like notes ready before you go into your next like prenatal appointment
Yeah.
or doctor's visit, but is there anything else that you would want somebody to hold close with them or bring with them, especially for people who felt maybe dismissed in medical spaces and systems the next time they go to a medical appointment?
You know your body. Um, Now your provider, they went to school, yes, and they do deserve that respect in that sense of you would hope knowing about the body, about diagnosis, medications, whatever treatments that need to happen. But you are also a part of this treatment plan, a part of this care plan. And you are the biggest part because it's happening to you. So take that power, own that power. If you feel that your your questions, your feelings, things like that are being dismissed, then maybe that provider is not for you, and I want you to try to look for a different one. If you don't know how, call your insurance, the numbers on the back, and ask them to give you some names of doctors or providers, nurse practitioners, physician assistant in your area. And you can also complain about that doctor. I'm not saying to do that unless you have real complaints, but um, we have to now, again, like I said, you have to call it what it is. And for us to have anything change. And so I just want to leave you with that to please be present in your care. Don't leave it up to your provider. Because also, while they're trying to do their best, most of them, they have how many other patients that they're seeing. And the list is just getting longer, the less practitioners that we have. So you are your best advocate. And if you feel like your thoughts and your feelings and your questions and your symptoms are not being taken care of the way that they should be, or they keep happening, find someone else. Keep finding someone else. Keep asking the questions. Keep asking to be assessed. Um, because you may be the ones, who will get what you need at the end of the day. We can't just leave it to chance. And that is my biggest thing. Come with your questions and know that you're the patient, but you're in charge. That doesn't mean be mean to people. It just means that, like these things are happening to me, especially as women, perimenopause, menopause, things like that, anything. And you're having these symptoms, these things are happening to you. Keep talking about them. Keep bugging them. Can we get some tests? Whatever it is that needs to happen for me to see if it's really something or not. It might save your life. Yeah.
So as we wrap, will you let us know anything upcoming for Her Black Wellness? Anything you want to share about your sort of short-term, long-term goals, and then where folks can find you on social media, website,
Yeah.
anything you want to plug?
So I have big plans for Her Black Wellness. I'm still getting started. I really opened Her Black Wellness in January this year. So I'm just getting started. But you can find me on Instagram at Her Black Wellness. I'm also on LinkedIn under my name, Ciara Lyons-Ragains. Because I also have like corporate offers where basically I can come in and be like, this is what's happening, and this is why you can't keep your staff. They're burnt out.
Yes.
They're stressed out. And nobody wins in that situation. And then also my plan is to have like events as we move forward, workshops and just gatherings of like women. And it's not just for Black women. My business is centered on Black women because I am a Black woman and I have experience and I have friends and family who have had these experiences, and I choose to focus on those things. But honestly, it's for anyone and everyone. If you fit in, get in. You know what I mean? Like, I love it. You are welcomed with open arms. So if you also notice that I mention Black women a lot, but that's on purpose, because I'm calling out to us for us to start living a more relaxed life, more rested life. But I also want that for everyone. So, like I said, get in where you fit in. Um, and then I'm on Facebook too. I have a Facebook page, but I don't know if people are on Facebook.
No.
Yeah. So, I mean, you can find me
I
there.
love you, family members. who are
Right.
on Facebook. I love
Exactly.
you. Thank you.
I appreciate you.
I appreciate
And then I will have a website at some point, when you're a solopreneur,
you. Oh,
trying to
that
navigate
is
the
where
things.
I'm at right now. Squarespace is like, are you going to do something?
One day.
Hello? I'm like, ow, stop yelling at
One
me.
day I will. In between naps and work,
Oh,
you
yes.
know? So yeah, I will have it, and of course, but mainly find me on Instagram if you're on there. And then join my email list, and then you can keep up with me outside of the social media train and everything else. If the internet ever goes south. But yeah, those are the places to find me. Again, like I said, soon I'll have a website up, and then just be on the lookout. Just we all deserve to be whole, rested. No more just like running around with our head.
You need to take your advice. So thank you for the reminder. Appreciate you. Thanks.
I appreciate it. I'm happy we got to do it.
My gosh, in person too.
Proud of us.
I know, I'm proud of us too. Thank you so much for listening on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, wherever you're listening. Thank you for watching on YouTube. Really appreciate it. I recently had to switch podcast hosts, and so I am now officially hosted by Spotify for Creators. Thank you, Spotify. And I would love if you could please rate, review, subscribe, do all the things. Both,
thanks.
yes, thank you. Both Spotify or wherever you listen, and as well as YouTube. It really helps. Tell a friend about the pod.
Yes.
I'd also love any small business or person that's doing great work, community builders. Like, I'd love to hear about them. So thank you so much for listening. And thank you for being a part of the movement to shop small and support local. We'll see you next time. You did it! You did it! Yay!